Today's topic, I'm going to show you why and how to change your PHP version and limits. So, why would you need to adjust your PHP limits and the version you're using with WordPress? WordPress is an open source software built using PHP. The PHP version and the set limits can help or hurt the performance of your WordPress website. If you updated your version of WordPress, you may be asked to run the latest version of PHP. Newly installed plugins may require the latest version of PHP. WordPress has a default memory of 32 megabytes. If you're getting fatal error messages, you'll need to increase it to 64 or 128 megabytes. Your maximum upload limit should be increased if you are loading large-sized images. Plugins can also require an updated version of PHP and increased memory limits. Now that you know some of the reasons why you need to change the version and limits, let's show you how. So, welcome back everyone. So we talked a little bit about why we may need to change your PHP version in WordPress, but we're gonna talk more about how to change it, where to change it. So one of the first things you're going to need to do is check your version of PHP. So there's a couple of ways of doing that. One of them is with a plugin. So if you go to your WordPress admin area, so you would type in your URL for your website and then wp-admin. So welcome back everyone. So we talked a little bit about why we may need to change your PHP version in WordPress, but we're gonna talk more about how to change it, where to change it. So one of the first things you're going to need to do is check your version of PHP. So there's a couple of ways of doing that. One of them is with a plugin. So if you go to your WordPress admin area, so you would type in your URL for your website and then wp-admin, and then you would pop in your credentials and you log in. And then what you're going to do, if you go to the dashboard, we're at the dashboard right now, you can see that we have no way of seeing what version of PHP we're running right now. So what we'll do is add a plugin. So this is a very common plugin that we're going to pop in. So you could just type in PHP version. That'll bring up all of the plugins that allow you to display PHP, and you're looking for the David Geyer version here with the little elephant, and you install that plugin. Activate. And now if you go to your dashboard, you should be able to see what version of PHP you're using. And there it is, 8.0.19. So we're using the most updated version in this example, but that is one way to check your version, is by using that plugin. Once you have used it and you're done with it, and you have changed your version of PHP, you can disregard this plugin, and I would just delete it. Why take up space if you're not going to use it? The other way, a more detailed way, is to go to your account. So let's go into your cPanel account by going to your client area and then logging into your account, logging into your services, and clicking on your basic account, and then in the client area, clicking on login, and now you're in your cPanel. And so what we want to do So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your file manager, click on that, and then you're going to go to www, and then in here you're going to create a file. Now this is really actually a temporary file. We're going to delete it once we're done with this, but for now create this file, and this file is going to be called info.php. You're going to create that file, and you can see, where is our little file that we just created? Right here we have our info.php file. If you right click on this, you'll be able to edit that file. So click edit, and here's where you can add some code. And what we're going to do is just copy this whole piece of code and paste it here and save it. Now, if you go to your website, and type in info.php, you will see your configuration and a far more detailed report on what is enabled, what limits you have, and you'll see, if we scroll down here, some of the limits that we're going to change, like the memory limit, the max input size, post max size, all those things. We're going to make changes to those things. And again, a lot of the times we're going to make these changes based on error messages that we may be getting in WordPress. So this is a way of checking out if the changes that you made took place. So as you can see, if you took a look at the PHP version that we have, it's 8.0.19, which is of course the same as the one that we have here, PHP 8.0.19. So we know that either using the plugin to check your version or to use this method to check your version, it is the same. So we know that's working. So how we make changes to the PHP file, there's a few ways. This is what I would call the cPanel way, and I would say it's the easiest way. So you would type in PHP in your search and you'll see select PHP version. You click on that. And it's here where you can choose whatever version you want by simply clicking here. And if we wanted to go, let's say, to 7.4, you can see here it says set as current. We would set that to 7.4, and then we should get the new version. If we refresh our website where our plugin is located, you'll see the change goes back to 7.4.29. And here, if we refresh the page, you can see up at the top 7.4.29. So if we change that back to 8.0, set as current, voila, you have 8.0. If we refresh this page, 8.0.19. So let's finish up with the others. So if you look at the top here, we have extensions and we have options. So click on the options, and here in the options section, we could have also changed the current version here as well. If you scroll down, you'll see max input variables, and then memory limit. So this is where you can make all those changes. So memory limit and post max size, we want those, we want post max size and upload max file size to be the same. So post max size deals with all the files, like several files that you may be downloading at the same time, versus upload max file size deals with only a single file. So we want these both to be the same so that we have no problems. Usually you're going to get issues when you have these really big files that you're trying to upload. Image files is typically one of them. Video files can also be huge. And if you're trying to download something that's way bigger than this, it just simply will not allow you to download it. There's also the idea that you really isn't a good idea to have videos loaded onto your server. You're better off using like YouTube or Vimeo to host your videos and then use a URL or embed code to embed it into your site. That way the load isn't being carried on the server. it makes the pages work much faster. It's much easier to manage and just better for user experience. So this is where you change all of that. So if we want to change that to 64 megabytes, and here you can see we have a success message. Same here, 64 megabytes. If we were to check this version here, so let's check out if that's changed in this section. We'll check out the post max size and upload max size, see if it is changed. So here's the post max size, and it is 64. We did change that. And scroll down a bit more, and we have the upload max file size, which is 64. So those changes have been made. This is how you can absolutely check to make sure that these changes have been made. This is a great way to really pinpoint all of the changes, not just your version. So this is really a more detailed way to check your not only your version, but also these other changes that you may need to make. Another area, max input variables. I like to bump that up to about 5,000. And let's see, another common one. By the way, if you don't know what one of these things might do, like max execution time or max input time, just leave them in their default values. Don't play around with them. Usually the error message will tell you what it needs, and then you'll be able to go in and make the changes based on that error message. Another area, the memory limit. So PHP will use this limit when they process scripts that you execute in your WordPress. And so 128 is usually more than enough. If you're getting fatal errors, you may increase this to a greater amount, but 128 should be more than enough. Let's see if that max input variable has changed. Where is that? Max input variable right here. It's at 1,000. Let's refresh. There we go. That's at 5,000. So that has taken. So yeah, that's about everything I've got on how to make most of the changes you're going to need to make when you're getting error messages. Those are the most common ones that you're going to get. Another thing you might want to look at while we're here is the extensions. There is quite a few extensions. These add more functionality to your website, and again, be forewarned that some of these extensions, if you do not know what they are, just leave them alone. It's better just using the default settings. They're made to maximize the experience. If a plugin has a specific request for an extension, then you can enable that extension. OP Cache is a good one to have running. It helps the websites to run faster and more efficiently. But other than that, I would leave these alone unless specifically asked by a plugin or by WordPress. So that about does it for how you would change your PHP limits and your version. Make sure you go back and delete this info.php file. The main reason is that it has a lot of information here about your website, and people who hack into websites, they may want some of this information. Not sure how much it would help them to hack your website, but better not to give them this information. So as soon as you're done with this, just go to your file manager, click on it, and delete it. And that way, if you were to refresh this, you will get a 404 error because it doesn't exist anymore. And that is it. Again, if you all need any help, fill out a ticket and we will give you all the support you need, and we'll get to you within a half an hour of that ticket and help you out. All right, thanks, and hope to see you in another video.